What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Star Citizen and Bounty Hunter's Guide. So I wanted to do a real quick one before we moved on to MRTs, to kind of give one really big recommendation to a ship that will be like one of the biggest workhorses you can have. Now, I have more than just one recommendation, but one specifically has proven to me to be one of the main workhorse, and I've had the most success out of any ship I've ever flown. And I wanted to do a dedicated video on that. So like I do have some other recommendations before we get into that, like any kind of light fighter, like the Aegis Gladius or the Anvil Arrow, even the Asperia Blade. You know, those are the big meta light fighters. You know, everybody really knows about them. They also really hold their own against the bounties up until VHRTs. There's also a couple other ones, like the Anvil Hornet or the Aegis Saber. And the Aegis Saber is my favorite ship in the game, but it's not actually the ship I'm recommending in this video. The Anvil Arrow or the Anvil Hornet has a lot of firepower. As long as you put a new power plant in it, you can put up to 6 guns on that thing, and it can just shred some of these bounties again up until VHRTs. The Aegis Saber flies perfectly in atmosphere. It's got 4 guns, and you can have a variety of different missile loadouts on it, and that is it's a lot of fun for me. I've tried so many different missile loadouts on there. I've actually come down to only using 2 size 4 missiles because those size 4s pack a wallop. But in my opinion, the Aegis Saber actually flies the best in atmosphere in the game to me. But I'm also a little biased because the Aegis Saber is also my favorite ship in the game. But if you are familiar with the channel, and if you've been here for a while, you already know the one ship I am going to recommend and dedicate this video to, and that is the Aegis Vanguard series. Now, when I say the series, I mean all 4 of them. I literally do. There is 4 different Vanguards. We have the Warden, the Hoplite, the Sentinel, and the Harbinger. And honestly, I can't recommend one over the others because they all really hold their own. They all have their own strengths. And honestly, the Vanguard is just a workhorse when it comes to PvE bounty hunting. And honestly, it can hold its own in a PvP situation depending on what you're getting into. This one in particular that is in front of me is the Vanguard Sentinel. It is the cheapest one you can buy in game at just under 2.02 million Alpha UEC. Following, I think it's also followed by the Harbinger. The Sentinel and the Harbinger are the 2 cheapest Vanguards you can buy in game, which is a little odd because for pledge price, they are actually more than the Hoplite and the Warden. I don't know why that is, but it is. So I would set your sights on, actually, now kind of taking a step back, I would set your sights on the Vanguard Sentinel or the Vanguard Harbinger because just a better in-game price point. Other than that, I mean, if you want to pledge to one of them, honestly, if you don't know what your strengths are and you just want to dish out the money and pledge to one of them, go with the Warden. It's tried and true. It's the one I used the most up until the Sentinel. It doesn't do anything special, but it's the fastest in a straight line, and it's still got all the firepower as a standard Vanguard. So I want to get into a little bit of the things on the Vanguard, right? So I want to tell you guys a little bit more of the Vanguard, starting with the weapons. So there are 4 size 2 weapon hardpoints inside the nose. These weapons that are in the nose right here can only go on the Vanguard series. I can't go anything else because they are specially made to go into like the nose socket you see there. There are a bunch of different types of weapons. You got laser repeaters, laser cannons, distortion repeaters, distortion cannons, ballistic repeaters, and ballistic cannons that you can put in these noses. like in the notes of this, and it's absolutely absurd. I have done so many loadout configurations of the Vanguards on the channel. It is absolutely absurd. I honestly want to say a good 20% of the videos that I have done in the past are on loadouts for the Vanguard. Another thing about the weapons, there is a size 5 weapon hardpoint underneath the chin. So you can go up to size 5, like I would recommend either a size 5 ballistic Gatling or a size 5 laser cannon. If you are going with 700 meters per second. This is kind of getting a little technical, but just to put it in the simplest terms, repeaters up until size 4 have a faster projectile velocity than cannons in general, or anything bigger than size 4. So like a size 5 laser repeater has the same projectile velocity as a cannon, so I would go with a cannon. And I will never, 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 never recommend mixing projectile velocities ever. Mainly because that pip goes all over the place, because your guns are trying to keep track and trying to compensate for 2 different projectile velocities. So when I am running the laser repeaters here, like I do right here, I size it down to a gimbaled size 4 laser repeater to keep that projectile velocity the same. Now, I don't actually use the gimbal on there. I still use it as fixed, but I notice a lot of success when I'm matching projectile velocities. If I'm going to switch these out to the MVSD laser cannons, I will stick a fixed size 5 M7A laser cannon or an AD5B Gatling gun, because I have matching projectile velocities at 700 meters per second. The repeaters are 1400 meters per second. I know that got a little technical, especially if you're new. I'm sorry, but I just wanted to point that out. It'll save you a lot of headache. Other than that, this thing also has the ability to mix and match so many different kind of missile loadouts. It is absurd. You can go anywhere from how many size 1 missiles, it's an absurd amount. I think it's like 28 to 32 size 1 missiles. You can mix and match and have size 1, size 2s, or size 3s and size 2s, or all size 3s or all size 4s. You can have so many missile combinations on this thing. It is nasty, and I love it. Again, comes into how many different loadout videos I did on this thing. So this thing is a absolute workhorse. When it comes to components on the Vanguard, it has all size 2 ship components, so it's a little bit more expensive than what you would put on your Gladius or on your Arrow or something like that. It's got I believe 2 size 2 shield generators. It's got 2 size 2 power plants, 2 size 2 coolers, and a single size 2 quantum drive. And that quantum drive, when I put emphasis on the quantum drive before, the quantum drive, you can get in size 2 the fastest quantum drive in the verse that can get you across the system, especially on this quantum tank, so fast. It's like within a couple minutes. Absolutely absurd. And that is the XL1 size 2 military grade quantum drive. It is fantastic. I will always recommend putting that on any ship that you can put a size 2 quantum drive on. When it comes to shields and power plants and stuff like that, I'm not going to dive too into that right now, because that's a lot of credit spent. Right now, we're just trying to work our way up. The stock components on this thing are very, very, very competent at what they do, because they are all size 2s. You don't really necessarily have to worry about switching all those out at all. Even the quantum drive, because it's still got a military grade quantum drive right off the rip, just not the XL1. It's a little bit slower, but it can still get across the system pretty quickly. Also, we're gonna jump into the ship really fast as well. As you can see, this thing has a fully fledged interior. So if let's say you're out doing bounty hunting and I don't know, your wife needs you to mow the lawn, or your kid needs you to do something, or your mom's like, hey, do your homework, you know, something like that, right? If you don't have the time or just don't feel like flying back to a space station, this thing's got beds to log out in, which is a great thing. I'm gonna close the door just in case somebody wants to walk up in here, but it's a great thing. I can't tell you how many times I've been out doing bounties and I'm like, all right, I'm a little tired, I don't feel like flying back. I'll just hop out of my pilot seat, lay down in here, and just, oh, where is it? There's a lot of things, and hit that log out button. Trust me, so many times I'm like, all right, I don't feel like doing this right now. So that is a great thing. Also, if you want to bring a buddy along with you, it's got a little turret. If I can open the damn turret, come on, there we go. Now we're still kind of teleporting and stuff, but we got a turret up top on the Sentinel specifically, which this one is. Hold on, let me turn it on. Or not, whatever. This one is a size 2 man turret on the Harbinger. The Harbinger has the best turret out of the Vanguard series because you have weapons that actually size up to size 3 on the turret. And PO is going nuts right now. But so if you want to bring a buddy along too in this ship, you can, and that is a big plus. I don't normally, but it's still a big plus in case you need to pick somebody up, like if you have a buddy stranded somewhere, or that you have a buddy that's not really familiar and just kind of wants to follow you along, getting your gun and shoot some stuff. That's a it's a very strong thing that this ship has. So this thing has always been my workhorse for bounty hunting. It has always been the strongest thing that I've been able to use in bounty hunting, aside from some bigger ships for ERTs, but I could still competently take down ERTs in the Vanguard, and it's I can't recommend it anymore. That's why I decided to do a dedicated video on the Vanguards, because they are tanky sons of bitches. They got a lot of firepower, they got a lot of missiles, you can log out in them, and you can bring a buddy with and use a turret. So when you guys are thinking about more of a combat focused ship, or a good ship to get you through these bounties, especially when you get up to higher tiers like HRTs, VHRTs, and ERTs, think about this ship. I can't recommend it any more than that. So I know this was more kind of a discussion, but I wanted to give a recommendation on something like that. Now, you necessarily don't need to use this ship at all. It's just something that has given me the most success from a fighter class ship. So I'm gonna wrap things up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys found my recommendation helpful. If you did, go ahead, leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys when we go take out our MRTs. Alrighty? Have a good one.